For the past year, the City of Duluth Imagine Duluth 2035 initiative staff has been working to engage local citizens as it updates the city's comprehensive plan. They've held more than 100 public events and analyzed nearly 5,000 citizen surveys in the process. This week, a public hearing was held, but there's still time to learn more about the revised plan before it is sent to the City Council for approval. And joining us with more is Kate Van Daele, a planner in the Duluth Planning Department. And Kate, thanks for coming in tonight. Really appreciate it. Some people might not know, what is a comprehensive plan and how is this tool used by the city as they kind of make their decisions going forward?
That's such a great question. We like to start with the basics. So a comprehensive plan essentially is a blueprint that the city uses to plan for our growth and for how we use different areas of the city. So when we're thinking about where is a good place for industrial businesses to be, obviously there's places in Duluth that we think of right away. There's also areas that we think of for preservation, and then areas that we think about for residential that might have some sprinkling of businesses in there with churches and schools. And it's all of how we use those areas and how we use them now, and then how we also can plan to use them in the future.
Kate, are there portions of the plan that should be of top priority?
There are. I think kind of what I will mention with that is that every time that we update the plan, there's different topics that we look at. And with this one, there's 5 areas that were of kind of concern, not concern for us, but that were really our top priorities. And so those were our housing, our economic development, open space, energy and conservation, and economic development. And so really those 5 areas are how we are planning to get from 2018 to 2035, some of the trends that we're seeing right now and some that we're anticipating in the next 20 years.
So I imagine you started by looking at the comprehensive plan that's already in existence, which was created, 2006?
Yes.
Has the city changed much since that vision was put together, so that the vision that's emerging is markedly different from the one that we had back then?
That's a great question. I myself have been in Duluth for 2 years, and I feel like in the 2 years I've been here, Duluth is night and day different of when I even thought about moving here. So to update the plan from 2006, yes, that's the entire reason as to why we decided to do an update and why Mayor Larson encouraged us to do an update at this time, because since 2006, our downtown looks different. We've had major businesses that have expanded in this time. We've had more people move to our city. And so with that, we really need to think about how we're using the city right now, what resources we could use, and how we could be promoting different neighborhoods. And so that's why we're doing our update right now.
Kate, a lot of folks may not even know there is a comprehensive plan. So what are the plans for the city to keep the public informed as to how that plan is working?
Well, Dennis, I'm really glad that you asked that. In 2006, when we did the update, and that was the update from our 1927 plan, just to put that a little perspective, we actually were able to contract out that work because we weren't able to do it in-house. And the plan was great, and we still are able to use it. But I really think there's a difference when you update the plan internally. And so that's what we've done with our department. And that really started with the recognition that we needed to involve the public. And so we did that from day one. We've had 123 events that we've attended in the last year and a half. As you mentioned, our survey with over 5,000 respondents to that. So our priority has been to hear the public, to listen to the public, to get their input. And I think Mayor Larson has said, we're hoping that as now we're at the end of it, we really hope that the public hears that we have heard them, and that their choices in words and their expectations of the plan are reflected in the policies and strategies that we have as a part of our various chapters.
Has there been good representation across all sectors? Because there tend to be people who go to meetings and then people who don't go to meetings. How do you reach those who have an interest in our stakeholders, but just aren't meeting people?
Well, that's a great question. We can't do it all by ourselves, which is why we're so thankful to have as many community partners as we've had. We've worked with over 70 different nonprofits and businesses in the community to get out the word that we're doing this work. The other thing is that really how we communicate is so different. There's people that have time to go to meetings and there's people that don't. So we've really tried to be intentional of getting into the workplace to meet people where they're at. We've also done a lot on social media. We have a Facebook page. We've done Facebook Live sessions where people literally can watch our updates in the privacy of their own home on the couch, you know, having a cup of coffee or taking a break from their favorite TV show. So we've really tried to be intentional about reaching all audiences. And when we're not doing a good job of that, we've also been lucky to have the community tell us that so that we can respond and make changes in how we're communicating.
So as a result of that, then, are there core investment areas in the city that you're trying to address?
There are. So we have 12 areas that we've identified of different neighborhoods, and those, just a few of them are Lincoln Park, Piedmont, Woodland. And what we're looking in those areas are really how people connect. I know in my neighborhood, I love being able to have the different resources that are there. These are areas that we're noticing that there are not always enough places for people to meet, whether that's having a recreation center or coffee shops. There's also food access issues in some of these neighborhoods that don't always have a grocery store, like in Lincoln Park and some of our neighborhoods out west. So really looking at the infrastructure, how people are engaging with community members and being able to offer not only solutions but resources to be able to grow those areas. And that's why we call them our core investment areas, so that our neighbors and our neighborhoods can really prosper and reflect the work that we're doing.
As you hear from all these diverse voices out there, are you getting a sense that by and large people are pretty pleased with the direction that the city is going in? Are you hearing concerns that, you know, kind of make you go, huh, maybe we ought to be thinking about that too?
I think the positive with having so many meetings is being able to hear that we're doing a good job, and at the same time, we're always going to hear from people in the community that there are things that we could be doing better. And the people that remind us that we could be doing better are those people that I want to focus a lot more of our time on, because we can't please everybody, but we should sure try. And so we really have tried to do that with having as much outreach as we have been having, and to be able to kind of have a pause. The other thing I think is different with this plan, in addition to some of the things that we haven't done in the past, is that we have benchmarks and ways to hold ourselves accountable. And we realize that things change, and so being able to have the option to change the way that our policies are and our implementation plans so that they reflect things that might be changing in 2 years, in 5 years, in 10 years, so that we're still relevant and still meeting the needs of our community.
I would imagine some of the people are expressing needs for jobs, for employment here in the city. As a result of that, is Duluth due for a population boom? We've been remaining stagnant now for some years.
Well, I think that we have seen some increase, Dennis, and we're looking forward to increasing more. But I think the thing that we need to remember is that housing has also been a really big part of our plan that we've been hearing. We know that we're shy of 4,000 units in 2013. We've increased the amount of units that are both rental and owner occupied by about 1,400, but we still have a ways to go. We need to have more affordable housing, and that reflects the businesses coming into Duluth. It also includes us making sure that we're taking care of the businesses that thrive here, that are expanding, like Lowell, like Cirrus, and so many others that we could name, like Duluth Coffee Company, that we really are so happy that they have made Duluth their home, and we really want to make sure that we're also getting folks in the door so that they can thrive in those businesses as well.
So implementing this is really going to not just involve the city, but also really depend on a lot of private and public investment to make this vision reality.
It is. We couldn't do this without the public. That includes our business owners as well as our community members. And so just like from the very beginning, we've had their involvement. They have really helped direct this plan, and they will continue to help direct this plan. And that's why we'll have an annual report so that we can be able to communicate where we're at, and then get additional feedback from those that we're serving on if we're missing the mark or if we could be doing better, and or if we've already exceeded some of the things that we've said that we're going to do.
Now, I understand you have an event coming up in February called the Cold Front.
We do.
Talk about it.
It's a perfect day to talk about a cold front, I think.
I think so.
We have an event called Cold Front, as you mentioned, and this is an update from our Imagine Canal Park, which was a grant that we got from the McKnight Community Foundation. And so that is an event that we are trying a few things out to see how can we get more people to Canal Park in the wintertime. So there's going to be s'mores, there's going to be an ice skating rink along the carriage trail, there's going to be a snowman building competition, lots of vendors, the largest happy hour in Duluth and largest coffee break in Duluth. So a lot of fun things, very family orientated. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're already having hotels saying that they're getting filled up for those weekends, people that are coming in to watch the football game that we're hoping that the Vikings are in, and also just a really good time to celebrate the great businesses that are in Duluth.
All right, and we'll have some information on the screen about that. Kate Van Daele, thank you so much for coming in and sharing information about the comprehensive plan. You make it sound exciting.
We hope so. It is
Thank you.
exciting.
Thank
for
you,
having
Kate.
me.
Thank you.